right now. And I need to tell you that. So if you unmute your mic and ask a question, answer a question, or anything like that, we will be recording it. We won't use it in any way that you would find inappropriate. If we share this out with the groups, it would be included. And by law, in some states, I have to tell you you're being recorded. So that's what that's about. Like I said, if you'd like to show off in the show and tell, just type up in the questions, I've got something, and I'll just turn your mic on when we get there. All right, next, something awesome. Taking LessonPix symbols with you. I'm going to turn off my camera for a sec. All right, so LessonPix is different in that we don't just allow, we encourage you to use our symbols outside of our interface. And by that I mean that we enforce our policies in terms of sharing and our commercial position. We make sure that that is enforced through copyright law. We do not try to enforce that through technology. The counter position to that would be something like BoardMaker and BoardMaker Online, where they use something like a BM2 file, where their symbols and their materials are locked into their product. It's not a criticism. It is a very real need to be able to control your symbols, your intellectual property. I understand the choice that they made. We've chosen a different one. We don't want to be a bad Microsoft PowerPoint. We don't want to be a bad version of Smart Notebook or Flash. We do want to make sure we are making the most of our commercial position and that we're not being ripped off by people stealing our symbols. So what we do when you're logged into LessonPix is you can access all of our symbols in standard formats. And I'm going to walk through that. And then we're going to talk about a little bit of extra that we've done in Word and things that we've done to that we will be doing to mimic that. So how do we make sure that that stays safe and that we are not being ripped off? The way we do that is that we embed your username in the images you download. And we have people who are really loyal and wonderful who watch out on things like Teachers Pay Teachers. Just yesterday, somebody on the LessonPix users group came up and said, hey, somebody's selling your stuff on Teachers Pay Teachers. And I reach out to Teachers Pay Teachers and we have that taken down. And we have some words with that person, and usually it's a misunderstanding and they're fine. We found that that allows us to not waste our time and your money on things that other products do well. So let me get out of PowerPoint here for a second and kind of show you what you can do. So I'm logged into the LessonPix interface, and I'm going to clear my tray. And I'm going to go to any section of clip art. It doesn't really matter where. And just make believe for a second that I really need this picture of the aorta. And I'm talking about biology, and I'm going to make a presentation about it, and I want to use this picture in a presentation manner. I want it to slide in from the right or grow or rotate or do any other things that are animated. I want this to be something I'm going to use during a presentation. The right tool for that is PowerPoint, or it's whatever the web version of PowerPoint's called, Prezi, right? Prezi, or the Mac version. So the very easy way to do this, and the very legal way to do this, is that when you're logged in and you right-click on an image, you can say copy image. Depending on your browser, it might say copy picture, copy photograph, or make a copy, but it's pretty straightforward. Once you've done that, you can go into any program that supports standard PNG images, and when you hit paste, it will simply paste that picture in. And this is this seems silly, and you're like, yeah, we knew we could do that, but it is important for me to tell you that it's allowed, right? We encourage this. Do this. By all means, do this. You are licensed to use our symbols in your practice, in your classroom, and in your home. and we don't care how you use it as long as you are not sharing it with people who have not licensed LessonPix. So once you've put it here, once you've put this into PowerPoint, you can rotate it. If it's in Word, you can make the text wrap. You can add a drop shadow. You can enlarge it. You can even do things that are kind of new in the new version of Office. You can make it look like Minecraft, which might get their attention. All of these are things that we don't want to be supporting. You're being artistically creative, right? We're trying to make it easy for you to make materials that you use every day and give you a huge symbol set. So once you've done that, you can use this like any other symbol within PowerPoint. That's true in Photoshop. It is true in Inkscape. It's true in Smart Notebook. So Smart Notebook is one that we may actually have a little slightly tighter integration later. But if you're making interactive materials to work on the smartboard, whether you're using the Panasonic or the Smart branded smartboard, they come with software for making interactive lessons. Use them. Use our symbols in that. It's legal. If you've done this, wonderful, and you're like, yeah, I got that. But if you haven't, try it. It works great. If you have something where it doesn't work cleanly, in other words, maybe when you paste it, it's got a black background, or it doesn't import just the way you want it to, we also allow you to take our pictures and export them in any of the standard formats. So you can go in and say, and PNG is the best one 90% of the time. I want to export this as a medium-sized PNG file, and it is now downloaded as a PNG file. Okay? I can now use this in anything that will accept a PNG file, which is darn near everything. So I'm really encouraging you to try this out. Use our pictures in other tools. If you have trouble using our pictures in other tools, please let us know. It is something that we expect to work. It is one of the ways that we keep ourselves from creating features that are expensive and would be difficult to keep up with the state of the art. So with all of that said, I'm going to go to a different program here. I'm going to go to Microsoft Word, and I will tell you that we have enough people who use Microsoft Word to use our pictures in that we worked with Microsoft to create a plugin for it. I'm going to walk you through how to install this twice. When we first announced this, this version of Word was pretty new. It's no longer pretty new. So everybody probably has access to this version of Word if you have it. I didn't mention earlier, and I'll come back to this, but Google Docs works exactly the same way. So if you're using Google Docs or if you're using any of the other online tools, you can paste pictures into those as well. But this one's a little bit different. Enough people were using this that we went ahead and created a plugin, an app for Microsoft Office. And so if you go to the Insert tab on Word, go to the Store icon, which is the red shopping bag, and then type in the word LessonPix. It is one word. You will get our symbols, which you can then say trust it to install our plugin on the side here. So I'll log in with the same account, and you'll see that I now have a tray on the right-hand side, and if I search, I can look for a duck. I will then click and insert a duck right into Microsoft Word. I can now do all of the things that Word supports, such as text wrapping. Let's see. So this will now wrap the text around my picture. I can resize it. This works just fine. Everything that Word does with pictures, it will do great. The difference is you now have over 35,000 symbols that you can add to your Word documents. When people come to me and say things like, I want to make a newsletter, this is my answer, right? My answer is use the Word plugin. It makes it very easy. You can lay it out exactly the way you want. You can do multiple columns. You can do all of the things that Microsoft lets you do with our pictures. So there will be more of these plugins. I think that one of the next ones will be the Google Docs interface because it does allow the same kind of a plugin. I would love to have one for Smart Notebook as well. If anybody has a favorite on what they would like to have us integrate with, by all means, let me know. About the only thing that I can say no to right now is that right now the Mac version of Microsoft Word does not support this yet, and that is a big irritation to me because they promised me that it would. So as soon as their API supports this, we will definitely integrate it as well. All right, so let's get on to some more fun stuff. I'm going to go back to here for a second. If you have any questions, you can either raise your hands or type them, and I'll come back to them. I think that this is something that is important to remind people of. It is something awesome. It is something that we encourage, and I hope you use it. The next part is something new, and you guys have been asking for this forever. You've asked for the ability to recolor LessonPix symbols for at least a couple years now, and our rules are, if it's not easy, we won't do it. So we've scrubbed features, we've thrown away features that we've implemented that we couldn't make easy, and we finally got it so that it was easy to do, and now they are available. So you can recolor any LessonPix symbol. You can create your own vocabulary words. So if there are sight words we don't have, or you want to make a bingo game with words instead of pictures, you can do that. And you can rotate and flip any symbol, including uploaded photos. So I'm going to show you how to do all of that. Hopefully this will be something that you've wanted. I'm going to go and pick any picture here. I will pick, why not, this is not a good section for this. That's fine. Here's a kid pointing at his ears. If I wanted to recolor this picture, maybe to make it look like a child I'm working with, or just to make 5 different versions with different colored shirts, you'll notice that when you look at an individual picture on LessonPix, this is what we call the symbol page, you'll see the alternatives we have, the black and white, the stencil version, and the alternative colorings. You'll also now see recolor and customize. If you click on this button, and I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see this better. So if you click on this button, you'll now see a large version of the picture that you're looking at. You'll also see the ability to change things. So one of the things you'll notice on the bottom left is you'll see all of the colors that are in this picture. If you click either over here or if you click up here, it will bring up that color and let you change it. So I want to give him black hair. I'll swap colors, and I gave him black hair. I want to give him darker skin. We've chosen down on the bottom left, you'll see a light skin, a medium skin, and a dark skin tone. It's just because it's really hard to find appropriate skin tones by browsing. I just made him dark skinned, and I'll give him a yellow shirt. I have brighter yellow than that. I'll use this bright yellow down here. And I've now recolored this symbol. If I want to, I can also add an overlay. I can give a checkbox. Am I listening? Check, yes I am, or an X, no I'm not. I can give a green circle or a red slash. I can also remove the overlays by clicking right here. I can rotate this picture. Now I probably won't want to rotate this picture, but if you've uploaded a picture and it came in sideways, this is a great way to rotate it back the way you wanted it. I can flip the picture, and I can flip him vertically. You can always undo any change that you've made all the way back to the original symbol. And when you've got the picture exactly the way you want it to work, you'll hit Save Custom Symbol. So now this has created ears, which has been customized. It is still in the same categories. If you search for it, it will show up, but it will be marked as mine, just like a picture that you upload yourself. So if I search for the word ears, here's all of our matching images. You'll see these are the original ones, and here's the one that I created. You'll see the little mine means that only I see him. But he'll work just like any other symbol. If If I create materials, he will come out looking just fine. So that is the most basic way to use the recoloring. I will show you one other feature here that is really cool, and it bears showing because it's not something that is easy to figure out on your own. If I look at something like an ice cream bar, and I find this guy. So if I find this ice cream bar, one of the problems with recoloring is that when I go to click recolor, you'll see that there's a dozen different beiges here, browns and beiges. And so if I wanted to make this a strawberry ice cream bar, I'd have to go through and change every color, and that's kind of a pain. If this group similar colors bar right here solves that. So if I drag this bar over, it will combine all of the browns together, all of the whites together. And if I click here and say I want to make that pink, and I swap colors, all of the colors will change together. Now I might have to go back and say, you know, I didn't want to change the actual stick. So now I have to change that one or maybe two colors here that I really wanted to leave alone. But that takes a lot less time than going through every single color on the ice cream bar. So hopefully you guys understand how this customization works. I will ask if anybody here wants me to show that again. Will you guys raise your hand if there's any questions about that, because we do have a video that walks you through it, but you guys are here. So 10 wide, so he's already, I don't know if that's a Q or no. 10 Noi, I'm going to unmute your mic. Would you like to ask me something, or you just want me to show it again?
Oh, I just wanted you to show it again.
Okay. I will remute you. So the way that works here, I'll do it with people this time instead. I'll look for a group. Here's a group of people. If I wanted to make all of these people darker skinned, for example, I would go into, I'll unmute you so you can tell me if you understand. I can go into this page, and rather than individually go through every single skin tone, I can drag these colors over until all my skin tones group together, make them all darker, hit swap colors, and it will change all of the skin tones to make them darker.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. If I wanted to make, for whatever reason, I wanted to make all the blues green, right? If I drag these over, I've got all my blues grouped together. I want to make them all green. All of the blues will switch to green. Okay?
Great. Thank you so much.
It's a very easy way to do this, and it is one of the things that really stopped us from releasing this, was that we didn't have an easy way for you guys to change multiple colors at once. So hopefully that's a big thumbs up from everybody. I am going to come back to this PowerPoint presentation. Maybe. All right. And we're going to open up a Q&A session here. Now, we have a few questions that we get a lot, and that I'm going to ask Lori to chime in here. But before we do that, I would like to ask if any of you have any questions at all about LessonPix, whether that's when you're allowed to use symbols, whether it's where we're going in terms of future development, when we're going to be at a conference, or anything like that. If you'd like to raise your hand, I will be happy to call on you and answer any. It's one of those kind of like a Reddit Ask Me Anything. I will, anything that doesn't embarrass somebody else, I'll answer any questions you have. I will probably not get any takers on this, which I would love any even stupid questions, but I will start with a couple questions that we get a lot of. One question I get a lot, which is pretty common, I'm going to try and walk through it here, is where do I change my email address because I got a new account? Where do I change my password? Hopefully you all know this, but on the Your LessonPix page, right here next to your face or the little symbol you have, and your name, there's a button that says Edit. if you go into edit, you can change a number of things about yourself. You can change your email address, your name, your password, whether or not to show the Unity symbols, and what you want to be done about restricted pictures. Restricted pictures are ones that we've chosen to hide from the screen for when you don't really want them. They're pictures of sensitive subjects, body parts, hygiene issues, and they're things that you might not want your students to run into by mistake. So right by default, what it does is it asks you for a password every time that you want to see one of those pictures. If you're in an environment where everybody's a grown-up, or you're making things at home and you just don't want to deal with this and it's irritating, you can say always show these pictures. You can also say never show these pictures if you just don't want to deal with them. You can also say whether or not you want to receive the newsletters, and you can change, like I said, change your password. You do have to enter your current password again in order to make any changes. We get that request, that is probably our #1 request in the ticketing system. The other is I forgot my password, which usually means people know to click the forgot my password link, but they've actually no longer have the same email address. So that's how you solve that. So I'm looking, I see no hands as in terms of questions from the live audience. But Lori, do you have any questions that you'd like me to answer that have come in?
I do. I have a couple questions. Hi, it's Lori.
This is Lori, my co-founder, and we'll actually be seeing Lori at some point in the show and tell section.
That sounds scary. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. You are a little quieter than I am, I think, but you're fine.
All right. My question that I saw here was, what are Unity symbols?
Okay.
You said that you can turn on and off Unity symbols?
Sure. So the Unity symbols, let me go back here. So the Unity symbols came about from a partnership with PRC, which is Prenke Romick. They make AAC devices. And if you look on the left-hand side, or you type in the letters PRC and do a search, you will come up with a whole category of Unity symbols. Now, these symbols are not ours. These have been around a lot longer. These were originally the MinSpeak symbols. When they merged that with the LAMP program, PRC called them the Unity symbols, and all of PRC's devices now come with these symbols. They are not a perfect match for our symbols because like this guy doesn't look like a LessonPix person, right? Also, they are not vector-based, which means that they will not stay sharp when you zoom in on them. It also means you can't recolor them. But they are great if you're working with people who are using PRC devices. It certainly is great to use the same pictures that they're using on their device. So they are here. What that icon does, what that drop down does in the in this edit screen, what it does is it says whether or not they should come back in search results. So if you search for the word ache, do you want to see Unity symbols, or do you only want to see LessonPix symbols? You can always browse them in that category, but if you turn this on, they will come back in there as well. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I have another question on where do I find the videos about changing colors for later?
Okay. Actually, I'm glad you asked that, because I actually forgot to show something important. So the place that you find them is also where you can use the other new custom symbol tool. So if you look, every custom symbol you make, whether you upload it or you colorize ours, it goes into the section your photos and custom symbols on the Your LessonPix tab. And right here, if you click on Manage My Symbols, you will see I have a lot of symbols, so it'll take a second. Okay, so you'll see the original manually upload a picture and the submit by email. These have been here probably since everybody joined LessonPix. And we now have two new options, the recolor that I showed you and the ability to add new text words. And right here next to those are where you'll find the how-to videos that show how to actually, it'll walk you through exactly how to create them. This is actually great if you're working on, you go to the farm and you want the words, duck, cow, farm, pig, but you want the words because you're going to make a bingo game that doesn't just have the pictures, it has the words as well. This will create symbols that have the word in them using exactly the same font, the same coloring options as our Dulce words and other words. So that is a thing that I should have mentioned during the What's New section, so thank you for bringing it up. Hopefully this shows you where those videos are as well. If you click on it, it'll bring up a video with a familiar voice. It'll walk you through how to do it. Okay, we do have a question from Allison Rick? I'm not sure. Allison, I will unmute you. You don't have to. I'll answer your question, but if you want to pipe up, you're welcome to. The question was, are board maker symbols coming in our future? No. I'm pretty sure that the answer to that is no. BoardMaker, so Dynavox is using the BoardMaker symbols, as do a few other vendors. I know that they are common, and for the same reasons that you would want the PRC vendors, PRC symbols, you would want the ones that go with your Dynavox. But PRC doesn't have a directly competitive product to ours, and I am really, if you really want me to, I will ask Dynavox if they would license us their symbols, but from past experience with other companies, I do know the answer to that. The answer would be no. I would love to be able to support the people using those devices. I think that there are other symbol sets that in the future we might make a partnership with. I think that Barbara Fernandez and the Smarty symbols, there's a remote possibility that that could happen down the road. I suppose that there's a very remote possibility on others like the News to You symbols. I think that the likelihood of the PCS symbol set ever making it into LessonPix would be very remote. So, Allison, I will unmute you. I will remute you, but you're welcome for the answer. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Lori, do you think that's a pretty safe bet?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's pretty safe bet there.
Okay.
But you never know what could happen. There's no plans in the immediate future.
That's a good way of putting it. All right. Hey, do you have any other questions, Lori?
I do. I have two more. You talked about putting in pictures. Does it work on Office 365?
You can insert, you can do exactly what I showed on PowerPoint, the copy and paste. And the real answer here is that Office 365 has two things. You do get a license to the full Microsoft Office suite with an Office 365 license, which means yes, it does. If you are using their web-based editor, I don't believe it does. But you can just do the copy and paste like you would other tools. It's just that the search sidebar does not show up if you're using the web-only interface.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I guess the other question I had was, where is Tarpon?
Tarpon Springs, Florida is where we are, and it is due west, it's west of Tampa, just north of Clearwater, Florida, and it's on the west coast of Florida in the Gulf of Mexico.
And I think that's all on my questions that I had here.
All right. Anybody else want to raise their hand or type in a question? I promise I won't embarrass you, I swear. Nobody trusts me.